we don't care if CIA was involved in toppling Sheikh Hasina. We simply don't give a damn. I think most of us would have supported even a US invasion, military intervention to topple Sheikh Hasina by the US. Why? Because we had enough of that lady Hitler. Where do you want me to start? Where? The judiciary? Sheikh Hasina destroyed the judiciary. Her cronies were employed in every department of the government service, in every step of the way. Her regime was the only time in Bangladesh's history where a chief justice had to flee the country. Why? Because he wanted to uphold the independence of the judiciary from the executive. And she was mocking him day and night, and then eventually forced his retirement and he had to flee the country. Oh, that's not good enough. What about her general, Atikur Rahman? Atikur Rahman had his brothers, his criminal brothers, discharged of all crimes with the help of the titular president of the country. And there are thousands of reported extrajudicial killings during Sheikh Hasina's regime. She created torture cells like the Aina Ghar. Are you all ignorant about it? Thousands of human rights activists, opposition political party activists remain unaccounted for. Just Google, just Google. She enacted draconian laws to throttle freedom of speech. Where do you want me to start? Where? CIA or no CIA? We would have supported even a military intervention by the US to topple this lady Hitler, Sheikh Hasina. Where do you want me to start? Where? Mass killings of opposition activists, including the 2013 killing of Hepajat-e-Islam activists. What was their crime? Although I don't agree with their views, but still they had the right of freedom of association. There were blood on the floors. And Sheikh Hasina was mocking and ridiculing them as if they were, wearing blood. Instead of blood, they were just painting themselves with red color. Where do you want me to start? Where? CIA or no CIA? We would have supported any power to rid us of this lady Hitler, Sheikh Hasina. She was the master of mockery. She rigged polls after polls to remain in power. What about her police force? She used her connections with her political parties like Awami League, her own political wing, to man every department of the administration. Police, as I said, the judiciary, and everywhere, every step of the way. The bureaucracy, with the so-called quota system. And she was preaching the politics of hate. Anyone who would not agree with her understanding of politics and who would not bow to her wishes, whether that they be the opposition political parties or freelance writers, journalists, she would have brand them as anti-independence elements. And she would brand them as Islamists. What about me? I'm a known critic of Islamist extremism. I condemned Sheikh Hasina as the lady Hitler of Bangladesh. Look at me. So how dare you question the fall of Sheikh Hasina, the lady dictator? How dare you? How dare you? Sheikh Hasina wanted us to be blackmailed by her emotions. She wanted us to accept her father as the only leader for independence? What about Sohrawardi? What about Sher-e-Bangla? What about Vashani? What about General Osmani? What about Ziaur Rahman? There were no one, because they didn't like her father's politics, because her father, soon after the independence, became a dictator as well, a power-hungry man who carried out atrocities against oppositions like JSD, who killed our democratic values and started Bakshal politics. So how dare you question our freedom against Sheikh Hasina? What gave you the right to question? Yes, there are jubilants in the streets. Yes, there are some troubles in the streets. Yes, but this happened everywhere. What about Soviet Union? After the fall of the Soviet Union, they were pulling down statues of Lenin, and the Western world were rejoicing, and we were all rejoicing. What about Saddam's fall? Huh? What about Gaddafi's fall? What about them? What about, the Zimbabwean leader? You were all criticizing, even though he was the founding father. Many of the founding fathers were killed in Africa because many of them became monsters. So just being one of the founding fathers of Bangladesh doesn't mean we have to give him or his party license to carry out whatever they wanted in my country. No. No. CIA or no CIA. CIA or no CIA. We would have even supported military intervention by the US against this lady Hitler, Sheikh Hasina, who destroyed every democratic values we had. We were worried even to talk about her regime. We were even worried about phone calls to our friends in Bangladesh because the fear politics were at its worst. So how dare you question our freedom from Sheikh Hasina? What gave you the bloody authority to do that? We had enough of Hasina's regime. We had enough of Awami League's regime. We had enough. We were suffocating. We couldn't even breathe. Thank you, Dr. Yunus, for saving our skin. Thank you for giving us the freedom from this autocratic regime of Sheikh Hasina, who thought she was beyond the reach of the ordinary mass. And do you think this mass uprising were just for fun? When thousands of innocent civilians were shot, hundreds of students were being killed before our eyes, and she was still being a hypocrite. Who was Abu Said? Who was Amugdo? Read about them. Even one death should have been enough to pull down the regime of Sheikh Hasina. Imagine what the Sheikh Hasina's brutal forces like RAB, police did. Why people got so angry with the police. Extrajudicial killing, corruption at its worst. Imagine a country's chief police officer, after retirement, fleeing the country with $1 billion. Why? Because they were spreading and helping criminality so that they could gain from it. The names like Tibi Harun, Benazir ran shivers through our veins, and you are still trying to criticize our freedom. How dare you? How dare you criticize the rise of the mass against this lady Hitler? How dare you, CIA or no CIA? We would have supported military intervention by the Americans to get rid of this lady Hitler. How dare you?